20 minutes into the flight, Simone Grace's eyelids flutter in the precise rhythm of NREM Stage 3, sleep, the deepest cycle before REM. Her breathing follows a measured four-count pattern, chest rising and falling with mechanical consistency. To the passengers around her, she's just another exhausted traveler in Seat 12C, slouched against the window in a faded Northwestern hoodie and worn jeans. But her brain is tracking data. Engine harmonics steady, N1 turbine speed holding at 94%, altitude stable at 37,000 feet based on cabin pressure against her eardrums. Airspeed approximately 290 knots calculated from the pitch of air flowing past the fuselage. She's been asleep for exactly 14 minutes, 6 minutes remaining in this cycle. 4 rows ahead in business class. Marcus Pemberton's voice cuts through the white noise of pressurized air. The volume is deliberate loud enough to ensure everyone within 10 rows hears him. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Veronica. You pay $1,200 for a business class seat, and they let economy overflow block the aisles like it's a homeless shelter. Veronica Chase, blonde hair pulled back in a severe ponytail, tilts her phone to capture video of the cabin. Her manicured finger hovers over the record button. Peak entitlement, she agrees. Panning the camera toward the rear of the aircraft. Woman literally sleeping through safety procedures, blocking bathroom access for paying customers. 3 rows behind them, Brad Stevens, 28, gym-sculpted physique, barely contained in an influencer life branded hoodie, is already live streaming to his 50,000 TikTok followers. Guys, check this situation out, he whispers into his phone, angling the camera towards Simone. Economy class treating business like their personal waiting room. This is what happens when airlines don't enforce boundaries. The comments flood in immediately. Typical, she looks homeless, lol. Security should remove her. Simone's eyes open. Not suddenly, not with the startled jerk of someone woken from deep sleep, but with the calculated precision of a pilot who's trained to wake at exact intervals, aware of her surroundings before her eyes fully focus. She doesn't move, doesn't shift position. To anyone watching, she still appears asleep. But she heard every word. Then 3 sharp electronic chimes from the cockpit. Not the standard single-chime passenger call. 3 chimes means flight deck emergency. The overhead speakers crackle with static, then a voice strained, weakening wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is experiencing medical. If anyone on board, pilot experience, please identify yourselves to... The transmission cuts. The cabin freezes. 287 passengers holding collective breath. Marcus stands gripping the seat back in front of him. What the hell was that? Simone unbuckles her seatbelt and rises to her feet. Every eye turns to her. Marcus steps into the aisle, blocking her path. 6'2" of corporate entitlement in a $1,500 suit. Not you, sweetheart. Sit down. We need a real pilot. Simone meets his eyes hers, dark brown, calm, as deep water carrying something he can't identify but instinctively fears. 3 words, quiet, absolute. I am one. The screen cuts to black. JFK International Airport Terminal 5, Gate B37. Evening departure, 6:14 p.m. The gate area pulses with the controlled chaos of pre-boarding business travelers, typing furiously on laptops, families corralling children, the electronic voice announcing boarding groups with mechanical indifference. Simone approaches the gate agent podium carrying a single backpack, the kind sold at outdoor stores for $40. Her Northwestern University hoodie is gray, sun-faded around the shoulders. The jeans have a small tear near the left knee, not fashion statement ripped, but genuinely worn through. No jewelry visible except a dark metallic watch partially hidden beneath her sleeve, the band scuffed, the face scratched from years of use. Sandra, the gate agent, scans the boarding passes of business class passengers with practiced efficiency. Warm smile for the man in the tailored suit. Welcome aboard, Mr. Hayes. Pleasure to have you flying with us today. Simone reaches the podium, extends her boarding pass. Sandra scans it. The scanner beeps. Her eyes flick to the screen, then to Simone, then back to the screen. 12C. That's economy premium. A pause. Are you sure this is your reservation? Yes. It's just, this route usually... Sandra catches herself. Never mind. You're all set. Have a good flight. But the hesitation lingers in her eyes as Simone walks down the jet bridge. The Boeing 737-800 smells like recycled air, industrial cleaner, and the faint petroleum tang of jet fuel. Simone steps aboard, immediately cataloging exit row locations: row 10, over wing, row 22, aft, both clearly marked. Overhead panel wiring visible through a gap near the forward lavatory condition appears nominal. Cabin pressure differential at ground level 0 as expected. She'll track the change during climb. Seat 12C, ma'am. The flight attendant gestures down the aisle with professional courtesy. Simone nods, moving past business class. In seat 11D, Derek Walsh looks up from his iPad. He's 62, retired from corporate aviation 5 years ago, and still carries himself with the posture of someone who spent decades in command. His eyes track Simone as she passes, taking in the cheap clothes, the worn backpack, the absence of any visible affluence. He leans toward the passenger beside him, voice low but audible. Doesn't exactly look like she belongs on this route, does she? Simone continues to 12C without reaction. Window seat. She prefers aisle for quicker access to cockpit in emergencies, but the seat assignment is what it is. She settles into the seat backpack, stowed beneath the seat in front, rather than overhead, keeps emergency items accessible. Her hands move automatically, checking the seatbelt, metal-to-metal connection, no fraying on the nylon webbing buckle mechanism operates smoothly. Then she closes her eyes. Not to sleep immediately, to listen. The auxiliary power unit whines to life beneath the cabin floor. APU start sequence normal. Electrical systems transferring from ground power. She tracks each sound, each vibration, building a sensory baseline of the aircraft's condition. Her breathing shifts to the 4-7-8 pattern. 4 seconds inhale, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds exhale. A technique taught to fighter pilots to maintain oxygen saturation during high G maneuvers. She uses it now to enter NREM sleep on command. In row 4C, Marcus Pemberton leans toward Veronica in 4D. His voice carries. This is what I'm talking about. Economy overflow ruining the ambiance. I paid premium for a reason not to share space with people who shop at Walmart. Veronica laughs, the sound sharp. At least she's quiet. Better than the usual types. Give it time. They always find a way to be disruptive. 3 rows behind them, 13-year-old Emma Martinez sits in 13B beside her mother, Maya Rodriguez, the lead flight attendant currently securing her own seatbelt for taxi. Emma watches Simone with the unfiltered curiosity of a child. "Mommy," she whispers, "why is that lady looking at the ceiling?" Maya glances back. Simone's eyes are closed, but her head is tilted at an angle that aligns her gaze if she were looking with the overhead emergency equipment panel. She's just resting, Mija. Don't stare. But Emma keeps watching. There's something about the woman's stillness that seems different from sleep, like a statue, or a weapon waiting to be used. The engines spool up for taxi. Simone's hands resting on her lap press thumbs against index fingers, pilot's grip reflex, maintaining proprioceptive awareness of yoke position even when no yoke exists. Nobody notices. The 737 begins to move. The pushback tug jerks the aircraft backward with mechanical precision. Simone's body registers the movement, a subtle shift in her center of gravity that her vestibular system processes automatically. Still, her eyes remain closed. Taxi begins. The 737 rolls forward, turning onto the taxiway with the hydraulic whine of nose-wheel steering. Simone's feet rest flat on the floor knees at 90 degrees. Not the crossed ankle posture of relaxed passengers, but the stance pilots maintain for optimal G-force distribution during takeoff rotation. Her hands rest on the armrests, but her thumbs maintain constant pressure against her index fingers. The position mirrors a pilot's grip on the yoke 4 pounds of pressure, enough to maintain proprioceptive feedback without fatigue. In seat 13C, 3 rows behind, Brad Stevens has his phone angled towards Simone. The live stream counter shows 2,000 viewers. Okay, guys, update on our economy situation. He whispers into the camera. She's literally doing some kind of yoga breathing. Watch this, it's so weird. The camera zooms on Simone's chest. The rise and fall follows an unmistakable pattern. 4 seconds up, 7 seconds hold, 8 seconds down. Repeat. Is she meditating on a plane? Brad's voice carries faint mockery. Economy class wellness influencer vibes. This is peak 2024. The comments scroll. She's probably terrified of flying LOL. Anxiety breathing. Namaste at 30,000 feet. The engines spool to takeoff power. The entire airframe vibrates as thrust increases 2 CFM56 turbofans, each producing 27,000 pounds of force. Most passengers lean back instinctively as acceleration presses them into their seats. Simone's body shifts forward. It's subtle, maybe an inch, but it happens 3 seconds before the nose wheel lifts, before the physical sensation of rotation. Her weight redistributes to the balls of her feet as if anticipating the pitch change. Emma Martinez, watching from 13B, tugs her mother's sleeve. Mommy, she moved before the plane did. Maya Rodriguez, busy reviewing her mental checklist for climb procedures, barely glances back. She probably just adjusted her position, baby. Look, we're taking off. See the runway lights. But Emma keeps staring. The woman's stillness is eerie, like she knows what's coming before it happens. Rotation. The nose lifts. Positive rate of climb. Gear up, a mechanical thunk reverberates through the airframe. Simone's eyes open for exactly 2 seconds as the landing gear retracts. She's tracking the sound signature, confirming successful retraction, listening for anomalies. Then her eyes close again. The climb continues. 10,000 feet, 18,000, 25,000. Each time the throttles adjust each subtle power reduction as the aircraft climbs through denser air, Simone's eyelids flutter. She's monitoring power settings through proprioception, the way a musician hears pitch without conscious analysis. At 37,000 feet, the throttles stabilize. Cruise power. The cabin lighting brightens. The seatbelt sign chimes off. Service begins. 2 flight attendants emerge from the forward galley with beverage carts. The rhythmic rattle of ice, the clink of glasses, the murmur of drink orders. Marcus Pemberton's voice rises above the ambient noise. Macallan 18. Neat. And make sure it's the actual Macallan, not whatever well whiskey you're passing off in economy. He doesn't lower his volume. The statement is performative, meant to be heard. The flight attendant page, according to her name tag, smiles with practiced patience. Of course, sir. Right away. Veronica Chase leans into the aisle. I'll have a glass of the Chablis, the good one, not the house wine. Absolutely, ma'am. As Paige pours, Veronica speaks loud enough for surrounding rows. I just hope we don't have to deal with bathroom traffic from economy. Those types always need to go every 5 minutes. Marcus chuckles. Flight attendants should screen better. Maintain cabin standards. In 12C, Simone's jaw tightens, the only visible reaction. Her hands remain still. Then the first bump. Light chop. Nothing severe, just the atmospheric ripples of clear air turbulence at high altitude where the jet stream's velocity gradient creates vertical wind shear. Most passengers barely notice. A few drinks slosh slightly in their cups. Simone whispers, barely audible, "Cat," Jet stream interaction at this latitude, probably 30-knot differential across 5,000 feet. Her eyes remain closed. In seat 11D, Derek Walsh's head turns. He heard that. He's certain he heard that. Clear air turbulence, jet stream shear. The terminology is too precise for casual knowledge. He studies her face. She appears asleep. Did she actually speak, or did he imagine it? The turbulence smooths out. The ride stabilizes. Derek leans toward the passenger beside him, a businessman absorbed in his laptop, and speaks quietly. Everyone's a meteorologist these days. Google University graduates everywhere. But his eyes stay on Simone. Because if she did say what he thinks she said, the calculation was correct. Textbook correct. The kind of assessment a pilot makes automatically reading atmospheric conditions through aircraft response. And that bothers him more than he wants to admit. 93 minutes into the flight. Cruising over Nebraska at 37,000 feet, the cabin has settled into the quiet rhythm of a red-eye reading lights creating small pools of illumination, most passengers dozing or watching seatback screens with headphones. Simone is in minute 17 of her third NREM cycle. 3 minutes remain before automatic wake. The turbulence hits without warning. Not light chop this time. The aircraft drops 300 feet in 2 seconds, a sudden loss of lift, as the airframe punches through a pocket of descending air. The sensation is violent, immediate, like an elevator cable snapping. Overhead bins pop open. Carry-on bags spill into the aisle. A laptop goes airborne, clattering against the ceiling before tumbling down. Someone's coffee cup launches from the armrest, spraying hot liquid across 2 rows. Screaming erupts throughout the cabin. Simone's eyes snap open. Her response is instantaneous, not the flailing panic of startled passengers, but the trained reaction of someone who's experienced catastrophic decompression at altitude. Her feet brace against the floor in a wide stance, toes locked against the seat base ahead. Knees bend to absorb vertical acceleration. Her core engages, stabilizing her spine against whiplash. Her right hand shoots forward, reaching for a yoke that isn't there. The motion is precise fingers curl into pilot's grip position. Thumb ready for trim switch wrist, angled at 15 degrees for optimal control authority. Her left hand moves simultaneously to where a throttle quadrant would be. The fingers extend ready to manipulate 4 levers that don't exist in a passenger cabin. The entire sequence takes 1.2 seconds. Then the aircraft recovers. The flight control computers adjust, damping the oscillation. The ride smooths, but Derek Walsh saw everything. He's sitting 1 row ahead across the aisle angle, perfect to observe Simone's reaction in his peripheral vision. And what he saw defies civilian explanation. Those movements weren't random. They were muscle memory, trained response to aircraft upset conditions. His breath catches. Veronica Chase, recovering from the shock, fumbles for her phone. She aims the camera at Simone, who's now sitting motionless again, hands returned to armrests. "Look at her," Veronica says to the camera voice, shaky, but gaining performative confidence. Stone-faced, some people just freeze when they're terrified. Shock response. Probably never flew before. Brad Stevens, 2 rows back, is already recording. "Guys, that was insane. Thought we were going down. But check out Ice Queen over here, didn't even flinch. Either she's in shock or she's got nerves of steel." The comments flood, "She's dissociating. Trauma response for sure. I'd be screaming." Derek says nothing, because he knows what he saw. And what he saw was a pilot's reaction. The overhead speakers crackle. First Officer Evan Brooks's voice professional, but with an edge of stress beneath the calm. "Folks, sorry about that. We hit some unexpected wind shear. We're working with Kansas City Center to find smoother air. Weather radar's showing some cells developing ahead, so we're making minor course adjustments. Nothing to worry about." Simone's lips move. A whisper, almost inaudible. He's scanning wrong tilt angle. Should check 40-mile range -2 degrees. That's classic embedded cumulonimbus signature. Derek's head whips around. She's not talking to anyone. Eyes still closed, voice barely above a murmur. But he's 3 feet away. He heard every word. His mind races. Tilt angle, weather radar terminology, embedded CB cumulonimbus thunderstorm cells hidden within stratiform clouds, 40-mile range setting for penetration depth. He leans forward, voice low. "Excuse me. Did you just—" Simone's eyes open, meet his. No expression. "Nothing. Just thinking out loud." The intercom crackles again. But this time, it's ATC communication accidentally broadcast over the cabin PA, a technical glitch that happens occasionally when pilots forget to switch from speaker to headset. United 473 Kansas City Center. Advise you have weather return clutter at your 12 o'clock 40 miles. Recommend heading 280 vectors around buildups. Also, confirm your radar tilt setting. We're seeing better definition at -2 degrees. Evan Brooks' voice slightly embarrassed. Center 473, thanks for the heads up. Adjusting tilt now to -2. That clears it up. Much better picture. Appreciate the help. 473. No problem. Descend and maintain flight level 350. Contact Kansas City Center on 124.3. Down to 350, 24.3. 473. The cabin PA cuts off. Derek Walsh's face has gone pale. -2 degrees, 40-mile range, embedded CB signature, exactly what she said, word for word. 30 seconds before ATC confirmed it. He stares at Simone. She's closed her eyes again. Body relaxed, breathing returned to that measured 478 pattern. His hands are trembling slightly. In seat 4C, Marcus Pemberton is oblivious, grumbling to Veronica about the turbulence spilling his whiskey. ATC better get us out of this garbage. We're paying for first-class treatment, not roller coaster rides. Veronica nods absently, checking her phone for footage of the turbulence event. Neither of them noticed the radar discussion. But Derek noticed. And the realization is crawling up his spine like ice water. She's not a nervous flyer. She's not meditating. She's monitoring the flight. 2 hours and 15 minutes into the flight. The weather continues to deteriorate. Outside the windows, clouds have thickened, no longer the wispy cirrus formations of high altitude, but solid gray walls of stratocumulus. Ice crystals form on the leading edges of the wings, visible in the reflected glow of navigation lights. The cabin has grown colder. Passengers pull blankets tighter, adjust air vents. Simone unbuckles, stands, moves toward the forward lavatory. As she passes row 4, Veronica Chase's eyes track her movement. The phone comes up camera active. "Brad, you seeing this?" Veronica whispers into her phone, which is connected via Bluetooth to Brad's live stream 3 rows back. Zoom in on her hands. Brad complies. The camera focuses tight on Simone's hands as she reaches for the lavatory door handle. The knuckles are prominent. The skin across the fingers shows thickness, not the soft hands of office work, but the developed calluses of someone who grips equipment daily. Specifically, the calluses appear on the index and middle fingers of both hands, right where a pilot's grip contacts the yoke during extended flight. The thumbnails are cut short. Practical. Functional. Veronica's voice carries to nearby passengers. "Look at those hands. Manual labor. She probably works warehouse shifts or something. Saved up for one decent flight to feel like she's somebody." Marcus chuckles. The American dream. Instagram lifestyle on a food stamp budget. Brad's livestream comments, "Those hands, though, she definitely works construction. Respect the hustle, but know your place." Simone enters the lavatory. The door locks with a metallic click. Derek Walsh unbuckles. He's been watching, thinking, calculating. The radar prediction, the body language during turbulence, the breathing pattern, the hand positioning. He needs to know. He positions himself near the galley, waiting. When Simone emerges 3 minutes later, he's standing there, with studied casualness, examining the emergency equipment placard as if genuinely interested. She moves to return to her seat. He steps slightly into her path. Not aggressive, just enough to initiate conversation. "Excuse me." His tone is conversational, non-threatening. "I couldn't help noticing you seem unusually interested in aviation." Simone pauses, evaluates him. Retired pilot, she can tell from the way he stands, the subtle assessment in his eyes, the faded Jeppesen watch on his wrist that only pilots wear. "I appreciate good operations." Her voice is neutral. "Most passengers don't know what good operations look like." He smiles, but it's a test. "What do you do for work, if you don't mind me asking?" "Consulting." "What kind of consulting?" A pause. "Safety systems." Derek's eyes narrow. "Safety systems. That's specific. What industry?" "Various." "Aviation safety." He's pressing now, reading her face for tells. "Among others." She moves to step past. He lets her but speaks as she passes. "You called the weather radar issue before ATC did. That's not something consultants typically know." Simone stops, turns back. "I pay attention." Then quieter. "And I've flown this route before." "As a passenger." She doesn't answer. Returns to 12C without further engagement. Derek walks back to his row mind spinning. He leans toward Marcus, who's scrolling through his phone with practiced indifference. "That woman. 12C. Something's not right." Marcus glances up. "The economy overflow." "What about her?" "She's too calm, too observant, and she knew technical details about the radar malfunction before the pilots did." Veronica perks up. "You think she's an air marshal?" Derek considers. "Maybe. Or, I don't know. Something." Marcus snorts. "Air marshals don't dress like they shop at Goodwill." "She's probably just one of those airplane nerds who watches YouTube videos and thinks she knows everything." "Maybe." But Derek sounds unconvinced. The cabin speakers activate. Captain Mitchell's voice professional, measured, but with an undertone of concern that trained ears detect. "Folks, this is Captain Mitchell. We're going to deviate slightly south of our planned route. Nothing to be concerned about, just some weather buildups we'd prefer to go around rather than through. We'll be delayed approximately 15 minutes, but we'll get you to Denver safely. Flight attendants, please remain seated for the next little while." The seatbelt sign illuminates with a soft chime. Simone pulls out her phone. Not for entertainment. The screen displays ForeFlight, a professional aviation app subscription-based at $300, annually showing real-time weather radar overlaid with their flight path. The display shows exactly what the captain described: a line of severe convection ahead cells, developing rapidly, tops reaching 48,000 feet. The deviation south makes sense, threading between two major buildups. But there's something else. The icing potential forecast shows severe rime ice accumulation for their altitude band. Current conditions likely exceeded certification limits for continuous icing exposure. Emma Martinez, one row behind, leans into the aisle to see what Simone is looking at. The screen is clearly visible. Complex weather patterns, altitude indicators, METAR data, PIREP reports from other aircraft. "Mommy," Emma whispers, tugging Maya's sleeve. That lady has pilot maps on her phone. Maya glances back, sees the screen. Her eyebrows raised. She's been a flight attendant for 15 years, long enough to recognize professional aviation apps when she sees them. "Emma, don't bother other passengers," she says quietly, but she makes a mental note. Odd for a regular passenger to have ForeFlight. Marcus, overhearing Emma's comment, leans into the aisle to see. Catches a glimpse of Simone's screen before she tilts it away. "Probably some flight simulator game," he announces to Veronica. "Economy class entertainment. Can't afford actual in-flight Wi-Fi, so she's playing with phone games." But the screen Marcus saw didn't look like a game. It looked professional. Too detailed. Too real. Derek says nothing, But his suspicion is hardening into certainty. That woman is not a civilian passenger. The question is, what is she? The cockpit door chime sounds 3 sharp pulses. Emergency code. Maya Rodriguez, secured in her jump seat near the forward galley, immediately unbuckles. She's halfway to the flight deck when Captain Mitchell's voice cuts through the PA, strained and wrong. Medical emergency. Flight deck. Doctor on board. Please identify. The transmission dies mid-sentence. The cabin explodes. Passengers bolt upright. Someone screams. A child starts crying. Maya unlocks the cockpit door. What she sees makes her blood freeze. Captain Mitchell slumped forward against the yoke, unconscious. First Officer Evan Brooks, fighting to push the captain's weight off the controls while simultaneously trying to fly. The aircraft porpoising nose up, nose down as the unconscious pilot's body interferes with the flight controls. Doctor, I need a doctor now. Maya's voice cracks with urgency. Dr. Catherine Way rushes forward from 14B. Cardiac surgeon, let me in. Maya pulls her through. The door stays open, no time for protocol. Passengers in forward rows see everything. The slumped captain, the panicking co-pilot, the doctor rushing to help. Marcus stands gripping the seat ahead. Oh my God, the pilot's down. We need someone who can fly this thing. Derek Walsh unbuckles, moving forward. I have 3,000 hours. Corporate jets mostly, but I can help. Maya tries to block him. Sir, please remain. I'm the closest thing to a qualified pilot on this plane. He pushes past into the cockpit area. Simone stands. Every eye turns. Marcus steps into the aisle, blocking her path. Sit down. Adults are handling this. I need to speak with your co-pilot. Veronica phone recording. She thinks she can help. This is insane. Derek emerges from the cockpit doorway, addressing the cabin. I'm going in. I've got this under control. Simone's voice cuts through calm, clear absolute. I have 7,200 hours. Type rated on 737. Current on emergency procedures. Silence. Derek stares. That's impossible. You're not in uniform. No credentials. My logbook is in checked baggage. We don't have time. Marcus laughs sharp, bitter. Anyone can say they're a pilot. Where's proof? Brad Stevens livestream active. Guys, she's claiming to be a pilot. Do we believe this? From the cockpit, Evan's voice, desperate, breaking. I need help now. Somebody who actually knows what they're doing. Derek to Evan. I'm coming 3,000 hours. I can handle this. Simone. With respect, you haven't flown a 737 in icing conditions with partial crew. I have. Derek angry. Based on what your word, Dr. Catherine emerges, face grim. Captain stabilized but unconscious. Cannot return to duty. We need to land soon. Marcus addresses the cabin voice loud. We need a qualified pilot, not someone who looks like her. No offense, but this is life and death. Veronica nods. Derek has real credentials. We trust the qualified person. Simone meets Marcus's eyes. Qualification isn't visual. Oh, here we go. Playing the diversity card when people's lives are at stake. Simone turns to Evan, visible through the open door. You're flying on backup instruments with degraded hydraulics. Your autopilot just disconnected. You have 40 minutes of fuel to nearest suitable. You need help from someone who's flown partial panel approaches in weather. That's me. Derek, or me, and I don't need to prove my credentials. Everyone can see I'm qualified. The words hang toxic in the recycled air. Hal Peterson, 70 gray-haired, sitting in 24F, stands. His voice carries decades of command. Boy, I was a crew chief for 30 years. I know what competence looks like, and it doesn't always wear a tie. Marcus dismisses him with a hand wave. Stay out of this, old man. The aircraft shudders another round of turbulence. Warning chimes from the cockpit. Evan's voice. I'm losing hydraulic system A. Pressure dropping. No resolution. Only escalation. Maya makes the command decision. Both of you cockpit. Now, we sort this later. Derek enters first. Simone follows. Marcus tries to block her. She doesn't raise her voice, just speaks with finality. Sir, move, or we all die while you debate. Cockpit scene. Captain Mitchell unconscious in right seat. Dr. Catherine working compressions. Evan in left seat, hands death grip on yoke, sweat-soaked. Instrument panel amber and red warnings cascading. Derek tries to take charge. Okay, what systems are affected? Evan hydraulic, A failed B degrading electrical bus fault. Simone scanning panel, left bus. Generator 1 offline. You're on APU and generator 2. Derek irritated. I was assessing that. Simone. While you assess, we're descending through icing without full anti-ice. Evan looks between them. Who are you? Someone who can help. Disconnect your autopilot. Hand fly. I'll manage systems. Derek, who put you in charge? Simone ignores him. System B hydraulic, isolate the electric pump. You're losing fluid through a leak. Isolate before total loss. Derek, that's not standard. Standard assumes single failure. We have cascade failures. Isolate or lose all control in 8 minutes. Evan hesitates. Are you sure? I've flown this scenario. Evan flips the switch. Pressure decay stops. Derek stares. That shouldn't work unless... Simone. Unless there's a downstream leak. Check synoptic display fluid quantity, dropping primary side, not backup. Evan confirms, eyes wide. You're right. Radio crackles. United 473 Kansas City Center. Souls on board and fuel remaining. Simone Keys Mike. Kansas City United 473. Heavy. 287 souls. 2.5 hours fuel. Requesting vectors near a suitable airport ILS approach. Multiple system degradations. Medical emergency captain incapacitated. ATC. 473 copy. Kansas City. International 140 miles. You're 11 o'clock. Altimeter 30.12. Winds 270 at 22. Gusting 35. Runway 19er available. Descend, maintain flight level 240. Condition. Cascade. Fuel, 90 minutes maximum. Hydraulic system, a dead B failing. Weather icing plus thunderstorms. Co-pilot, capable but inexperienced in multi-system emergencies. Passenger resistance, 80%, refuse to accept Simone Marcus storms to cockpit door. She's making decisions, you're trusting her. Evan focused, Sir, exit the cockpit. Marcus, I'm a shareholder. Get a real pilot. Second cascade. Warning, hydraulic system, B low pressure. Both systems degraded controls becoming heavy. Evan, I'm losing assist, controls are stiff. Simone, manual reversion. Disable both systems, rely on mechanical linkage. Derek, you never intentionally lose hydraulics. Simone, you do when contaminated fluid destroys pumps, preserves structural integrity. Derek silent, exposed. Third failure. Engine 1, anti-ice fault. Ice on engine inlet, N1 vibration, spiking Simone. Reduce thrust, engine 1 to idle increase 2, can't risk compressor stall. Derek. Reducing thrust in descent is backwards. Evan follows Simone's instruction. Vibration decreases. Passenger mutiny forming Brad Stevens livestream at 50K viewers. We're in the hands of someone with zero credentials. Should I say goodbye to my family? Marcus to cabin. We need to take control. Derek's the real pilot. Veronica, I'm documenting everything. Lawsuits are coming if we survive. Hal Peterson stands. Y'all shut up and let them work. Marcus, mind your business, old man. Medical update. Dr. Catherine emerges. Captain's deteriorating. Needs hospital within 30 minutes or permanent damage. Evan to Simone. Can we make it? Simone calculates 140 miles at 350 knots, 24 minutes. Tight. Worst cascade. Warning. Electrical fault. Generator 2 offline. Lights flicker. Emergency lighting activates. Running on battery only. Evan. Gen 2 just failed. We're on battery. How long? Simone. 30 to 45 minutes before total electrical loss. Backup instruments after that. Derek panicking. This is a death spiral. Weather update ATC. 473 winds, now 290 at 28, gusting 42. Visibility 3 miles blowing snow. Ceiling 800 overcast. Runway 19er braking action medium. Crosswind 38 knots. Above 737 limit of 33. Evan voice breaking. That's above limits, I can't. Simone puts hand on his shoulder, first physical contact. Yes, you can. I'm here. Together. Simultaneous crisis. Summary. Crosswind 38 knots, 5 above limit. Icing conditions. Degraded hydraulics. Single engine capability. Engine 1 idle. Battery power only. 24 minutes to landing. Captain needs hospital. Now. Evan. This is too much. Simone. We're doing this step by step. Marcus's final challenge. Marcus. I'm stopping this insanity. Derek takes over now. Derek quieter, uncertain. I don't know if I can handle this either. Marcus. You're qualified. She's a fraud. Simone turns full eye contact with Marcus' first direct confrontation. Sir, I understand you're terrified. Everyone is. But you have 2 choices. Sit down and let us work, or keep creating chaos and guarantee we don't make it. Marcus. I don't take orders from Hal Peterson military command voice. Boy, sit your ass down before I put you down. Shocked silence. Marcus deflates, returns to cabin muttering. Simone turns back to instruments. Radio. United 473 Kansas City Tower. Emergency equipment standing by. Confirm 287 souls. Simone affirmative. 287 souls. Evan whispers, can we really do this? Simone quiet, determined we have to. 22. Minutes to landing. Descending through 20,000 feet. Weather worsening, heavy snow visible through windscreen ice accumulating on wipers. Evan struggling with heavy controls. This is like wrestling a truck. Simone. Manual reversion, expect triple normal force. Anticipate, don't react. Derek subdued. I've never flown manual reversion this heavy. Simone. Most haven't. It's a scenario you hope never happens. Fuel crisis. Simone. Current fuel state. Evan 2600 pounds. Simone. Wind on approach 35 knots gusting. Add 10 knots to VREF. That's 30 extra pounds per minute. We have 1 approach, no missed approach capability. Derek. That's threading the needle. Simone. That's physics. Cabin deterioration. Lights dim further, temperature dropping, passengers shivering, pulling blankets tight. The aircraft feels like it's dying around them. Emma Martinez crying. Maya holding her daughter tight, whispering reassurances she doesn't believe. Brad's live stream comments, RIP, this is so scary. Praying for them. 10 minutes out ATC, 473, turn left, heading 160. Intercept localizer, runway 19er, cleared ILS approach. Simone. Evan gear down. Mechanical grinding, warning chime. Landing gear disagree. Evan, 2 greens, 1 red. Nose gear showing unsafe. Derek. We can't land with unsafe indication. Simone. We can if it's actually down and sensors faulty. Evan. How much fuel? Simone. 1,800 pounds. 12 minutes maximum. Derek. Not enough for troubleshooting. Simone. We're committed. Passenger panic returns. Word spreads. Landing gear might not be down. Marcus standing. I knew it. We're going to crash because of her. Veronica. Derek take over. Derek torn. Maybe I should. Simone. You don't have experience with gear malfunctions. I do. Derek from test flights. Simone from real failures. including one with mechanical extension, no hydraulics, and higher crosswinds than this. Derek quiet. When Simone? Classified program. Different aircraft. Same principles. Weather worst ATC. 473, winds now 300 at 32 gusts 45. Crosswind component 40 knots. Advise intentions. Evan. That's above limits. Simone. Published limits assume normal ops. We're not normal. Derek. You can't ignore limits. Simone. Not ignoring exceeding based on demonstrated capability. Derek. Capability. You claim. Simone, turning direct eye contact. Derek, I respect your experience. Right now, I need you to trust me or exit. Choose. Pause. Derek. I'm staying. Simone. Then support Evan. Call airspeeds. Breaking out of clouds 800 feet. Runway visible, but snow blowing creates whiteout. Visual illusion. Evan. I can't see threshold. Simone. Ignore visuals. Trust instruments. Glide slope is accurate. Derek. We're too high, I can see it. Simone. It's an illusion. Snow creates false horizon. Stay on glide slope. Evan conflicted. My eyes say he's right. Simone. Your instruments say I'm right. What do you trust? 500 feet engine 1, surges vibration spike. Evan. Engine 1 vibrating. Simone. Ignore it. Don't touch thrust. Committed. Derek. It could fail completely. Simone. Then we land on engine 2. Focus. The decision. Evan's hands shaking on yoke. I don't know if I can... Simone. You can. But I'll take controls if needed. Evan grip tightening. No. Talk me through it. Simone. Crosswind from right crab 18 degrees. Hold until 50 feet. Derek quiet now, watching. That's too much crab. Simone. Watch. Cabin final terror. Passengers gripping armrests, hands clasped to prayers whispered. Emma clutching her mother. Marcus, pale, silent. Veronica's phone recording forgotten in her lap. Brad's live stream frozen on his terrified face. Hal Peterson, eyes closed, lips, moving in prayer. The ground rushes up. Runway lights barely visible through snow. 50 feet. Simone, kick now. Evan applies, rudder nose swings to align. 30 feet engine 1 backfires, loud bang. Cabin screams. Simone calm, compressor stall. Expected, ignore. 10 feet. Simone, flare, easy back pressure. The right main gear hits first crosswind technique exactly as planned. The impact reverberates through the airframe like a gunshot. Left main gear. The aircraft settles onto both mains wings level, despite the 40-knot crosswind trying to push them sideways. Bang! Nose gear slams down. The unsafe indication was false. The gear is down locked holding. They're on the ground. For one heartbeat, there's silence. Then, brakes. Simone's voice cuts through. Evan's feet slam the pedals to the floor. Manual braking, no auto brake system with hydraulics dead. The aircraft decelerates, but the speed bleeds slowly. Too slowly. Outside the windscreen, runway lights blur past. 10,000 feet of concrete, but they touched down 2,000 feet, and crosswind pushed them long. 8,000 feet remaining. Speed, 140 knots. 130, 120. Simone reaches overhead, yanks the spoiler lever. The wing spoilers deploy manually, killing lift, pressing the aircraft harder onto the runway. More weight on the tires means more braking friction. Speed, 100 knots. 90. Derek Walsh, standing behind the pilot's seat, stares at the end of the runway approaching. His mouth moves soundlessly, calculating stopping distance with decades of aviation math. They're not going to make it. Deploy reversers, he shouts. Simone eyes locked forward. Reversers are hydraulic. We don't have hydraulics. Derek's face goes white. No thrust reversers. No auto brakes. Just friction brakes and aerodynamic drag. Speed 70 knots. 60. The runway end is visible now, emergency vehicles parked beyond red lights flashing in the snow. foam trucks, ambulances, fire suppression standing by. Evan's voice cracks. We're not slowing fast enough. Simone, runway's 10,000 feet. We touch down at 2,000. We need 6,000 at this weight. We have 8. Her voice is mathematics. Pure calculation. No fear. Speed, 40 knots. 30. The brakes are smoking now, visible through the side windows as heat turns moisture into steam. The smell of burning brake pads seeps into the cockpit. Speed 20 knots. 15, 10. The aircraft stops. 1,200 feet of runway remaining. For 3 full seconds, nobody moves. Nobody breathes. Then Evan collapses back in his seat, hands releasing the yoke, entire body shaking with adrenaline crash. His breath comes in ragged gasps, half sob, half laugh. Derek stares out the windscreen, speechless. Simone keys the radio voice steady. Kansas City Tower. United 473 is down safe. Requesting emergency vehicles to aircraft position. 473. Roger. Vehicles rolling. Welcome home. In the cabin, the sound is deafening. Cheering. Crying. Prayers of thanksgiving in multiple languages. Strangers embracing strangers. Emma Martinez buried in her mother's arms, both of them sobbing with relief. Marcus Pemberton sits motionless, staring at nothing, face the color of old paper. Brad Stevens' live stream has 200,000 viewers. His hands shake so badly he can barely hold the phone. We're alive, he whispers into the camera. We're actually alive. Simone begins shutdown procedures. Her hands move across overhead switches with practiced efficiency, fuel pumps off engine igniters, off electrical buses, sequenced down to battery conservation mode. Leave generator 2 online for now, she tells Evan. Medics will need power for their equipment. Evan looks at her, tears streaming down his face. You saved all of us. We did. You flew that approach. But I couldn't have. You did. That's what matters. Dr. Catherine Way emerges from behind the captain's seat where she's been working on Mitchell throughout the landing. He's stable, but we need paramedics now. Simone nods to Maya Rodriguez, visible through the open cockpit door. Forward door. Get them in. Emergency vehicles surround the aircraft, red and white lights creating a strobing kaleidoscope through the snow. Paramedics board within 90 seconds, rushing toward the captain with stretcher and equipment. Derek Walsh extends his hand to Simone. His voice is hoarse. I owe you an apology. I doubted you. I was wrong. Simone shakes his hand. You were protecting passengers. I understand. No. He shakes his head. I was protecting my ego. You're a far better pilot than I'll ever be. Simone releases his hand, says nothing. The statement needs no response. The hydraulic fluid is dripping, now visible under the aircraft as ground crew positions lights. System A completely drained. System B at less than 10%. Another 5 minutes of flight would have meant total control loss. They made it with zero margin, zero room for error. Evan wipes his eyes, tries to compose himself. How did you stay so calm? Simone looks at him. This young pilot, who just hand flew a crippled aircraft through conditions that would break veteran captains. Because panic doesn't land planes. Focus does. The cockpit begins to empty. Dr. Way follows the paramedics carrying Captain Mitchell on a stretcher. Derek Walsh steps back into the cabin to give them room. Simone stands preparing to exit. As she rises, her hoodie catches on the yoke, the fabric old, worn thin. There's a soft, tearing sound. Something falls from her pocket. Clink. The object hits the cockpit floor, metallic and distinct. It rolls forward, catching light from the instrument panel. Emma Martinez, standing in the forward galley with her mother, sees it through the open door. Her young eyes track the object as it comes to rest near Evan's feet. Mommy, something fell. Maya, helping secure the cabin, glances over. Emma, stay back. But Emma is already moving forward, curiosity overriding caution. She slips past her mother, enters the cockpit threshold, and picks up the object. It's heavy for its size. Gold-colored metal, circular, about the size of a silver dollar. She turns it over in her small hands, examining both sides. Front United States Air Force Test Pilot School. An eagle with wings spread. The text, Class 15A, back. A single word engraved in bold letters, Ghost below it, for excellence in the impossible. Emma reads slowly, sounding out the bigger words. Test, pilot, school. Maya appears beside her daughter, gently taking the coin. Her eyes widen as she reads the inscription. Test pilot school, she whispers. Hal Peterson, the retired master sergeant, has moved forward from his seat in 24F. He's been watching Simone since the moment she entered the cockpit, the way she moves, the economy of motion, the unconscious military bearing that civilians don't recognize but veterans can't unsee. He steps to the cockpit door. May I see that? Maya hands him the coin. Hal examines it with the reverence of someone who understands what it represents. Test Pilot School graduates fewer than 40 pilots per year worldwide. The elite of the elite, the ones who fly aircraft that don't have manuals yet. His eyes move from the coin to Simone, who's frozen in place watching him. Then Hal does something that makes the entire forward cabin stop and stare. He comes to attention, full military posture, and salutes. Colonel Grace, Master Sergeant Harold Peterson, retired. It's an honor. Simone's jaw tightens. At ease, Sergeant. I'm not active duty. Once a colonel, always a colonel, ma'am. The word ripples through the cabin like electricity. Colonel. Marcus Pemberton, 3 rows back, heard it. His face drains of color. She's a colonel. Veronica Chase lowers her phone, the recording forgotten. We had no idea. Brad Stevens' live stream, still active, stares into the camera. Guys, she's Air Force. She's an actual Air Force pilot. Oh my God, what did I say about her? The radio crackles, not the normal ATC frequency. A different voice military cutting across civilian channels with priority override. United 473. This is Andrews Air Force Base command post. Requesting authentication. Evan confused looks at Simone. That's military. How are they on our frequency? Simone's voice is quiet. They monitor guard. 121.5 overlaps with civilian emergency. The Andrews voice continues, professional but urgent. United 473 requesting pilot name confirmation. We have a profile flag. Please confirm Simone Grace service number. Simone doesn't reach for the mic. Her hand hovers hesitant. Evan. They're trying to help. Why won't you, Andrews? Ma'am, we have your file. Requesting authentication for assistance coordination. Please confirm call sign. Long silence. Then Simone keys the mic. One word, barely audible. Ghost. The radio goes silent for 3 full seconds. Then a new voice, female, younger, crackling with recognition and disbelief. Ghost, is this ghost actual? Simone exhales slowly. A small smile touches her lips for the first time. Affirm. Viper 2-1, is that you? Affirmative, Holy Ghost. This is Major Lisa Tran, 58th Squadron. What the hell are you doing on a civilian flight? Long story. Currently managing post-emergency securing. Could use priority services. You've got it. Major Tran's voice shifts to official protocol. Kansas City Tower. This is Andrews Air Force Base. United 473's assisting pilot is Lieutenant Colonel Simone Grace, retired USAF. Test Pilot School graduate, Class 15 Alpha. Authentication code Bravo Charlie 77. Recommend priority clearance all ground services. The cabin has gone completely silent. Everyone near the forward galley heard the radio transmission. The words are spreading backward through the aircraft like wildfire. Lieutenant Colonel, Test Pilot School, Ghost. Marcus's hands are shaking. He can't look at anyone. Veronica has deleted her Instagram posts, but it's too late. The internet never forgets. Derek Walsh stands in the aisle, staring at Simone with something like awe. Emma tugs her mother's sleeve. Mommy, what's a test pilot? Maya kneels to her daughter's level tears in her eyes. Someone very, very special. Someone who flies planes that have never been flown before. Hal Peterson still stands at attention, the challenge coin held respectfully in both hands. Ma'am, I believe this is yours. Simone takes the coin. The metal is warm from Emma's small hands. Thank you, Sergeant. No, ma'am, thank you. The radio crackles again, this time a new voice. Formal, official. United 473. This is Kansas City Approach Supervisor. We have FAA on conference, requesting confirmation of pilot credentials for incident report. Evan looks at Simone. She nods, takes the mic. Kansas City Assisting Pilot Simone Grace. ATP Certificate, November 7249358. Type ratings, 737, 757, 767, and experimental category aircraft. A pause. Keyboard typing audible through the transmission. Grace confirm. Lieutenant Colonel USAF retired test pilot school class, 15 Alpha. Affirmative. Copy that. FAA database confirms current ATP, all ratings valid. No restrictions. The supervisor's voice changes respect, replacing bureaucratic distance. Ma'am, on behalf of Kansas City ATC Exceptional Airmanship, we'll have the full team standing by. Major Tran's voice cuts back in urgent. Ghost. We need to talk. After you're clear. Command has questions. Simone. Copy Viper. 24 hours. Roger. And Ghost. Good to have you back in the air, even if it's the worst possible way. The transmission ends. In the cabin, Marcus has moved to the galley. He can't sit, can't think. His hands shake as he grips a seat back. Veronica approaches phone clutched against her chest. Marcus, we need to apologize. He nods mute. Derek Walsh steps forward. Colonel Grace, I need you to know I'm submitting a commendation to the Airline Pilots Association. What you did today, it's going to be taught in training programs. You saved this aircraft with skill I've never seen. Simone, First Officer Brooks saved this aircraft. I assisted. Derek shakes his head. No, you led. He followed because you knew exactly what needed to be done. He pauses. I'm sorry I doubted you. No need. You were protecting people. That's what pilots do. Hal Peterson approaches with the challenge coin. MAM Class 15 Alpha. That was the year they opened test flying to... He stops himself. Simone finishes to women. Yes, I was one of 3. And the only one who stayed flying, she corrects quietly. Paramedics have loaded Captain Mitchell. Ground crew works outside inspecting damage. The cabin door remains open, cold air rushing in, mixing with the smell of burned brakes and hydraulic fluid. An FAA inspector boards gray suit badge visible. Behind him, 2 airline officials and a uniformed airport security officer. I'm Inspector Williams, FAA. We'll need statements from everyone involved. His eyes find Simone. Especially you, Colonel Grace. Marcus steps forward before Simone can respond. Inspector, I need to report. Williams holds up a hand. Sir, please remain seated. We'll get to passenger statements. No, you don't understand. I need to report myself. I interfered with crew operations during an emergency. I attempted to prevent a qualified pilot from assisting. I created a dangerous situation through my actions. The inspector's eyebrows rise. That's unusually forthcoming. Because I was wrong. Horribly, dangerously wrong. Marcus's voice cracks. And if she hadn't been as skilled as she is, my arrogance would have killed everyone on this plane. Veronica stands beside him. I filmed it. Everything. I mocked her, posted it online, tried to humiliate her. I'll provide all the footage for your investigation. No edits. Full context. Williams looks between them, then at Simone. Colonel, do you wish to file a complaint against these passengers? Simone is silent for a long moment. Then, no. Fear makes people act poorly. They're frightened passengers who survived a crisis. That's enough. Marcus's eyes fill with tears. Why are you being kind to us? Because anger doesn't land planes. Focus does. She meets his eyes. And because I understand what it's like to be wrong about someone. Brad Stevens approaches phone in hand, but not recording. Colonel Grace, I have 200,000 people who watched me mock you. I need to tell them what really happened. Can I interview you? Let people see the truth. Simone hesitates. Evan speaks up. Ma'am, if I may, people should know. Not for you. For every pilot who doesn't look like what passengers expect. For everyone who's been judged by their appearance instead of their ability. Simone considers, then nods. 5 minutes. After statements. As the officials begin their interviews, Simone stands by the cockpit door. Her left hand tremors slightly. Adrenaline crash. Old injury from an ejection seat malfunction years ago. She hides it quickly, but Hal Peterson notices. That's from the prototype crash, isn't it? The one in the desert. She looks at him sharply. How do you... Because I was part of the recovery crew. Classified program. We pulled you out of that wreckage. His voice drops. You shouldn't have survived that ejection. The fact you still fly... He shakes his head in wonder. Inspector Williams concludes his preliminary interviews. He approaches Simone with a tablet FAA seal visible on the screen. Colonel Grace, I'm required to inform you we'll be recommending you for the FAA Airmanship Award. Additionally, the airline CEO wants to speak with you about a consulting position, emergency procedure training. Before Simone can respond, her phone rings. Private number. She steps away, answers. Colonel Grace, this is General Patricia Morrison, Air Force Chief of Staff. Simone's posture straightens instinctively. General. I just got off the phone with Kansas City ATC. What you did today, that's the kind of skill we can't afford to lose permanently. I want you to consider returning, not active flying, training position. Teach the next generation what you just demonstrated. Ma'am, I left for a reason. I know. And those reasons were valid. But times have changed. We have programs now, flexible positions, family support systems. What we don't have is another pilot with your combination of test flying experience and real-world crisis management. A pause. Think about it. That's all I ask. I will, ma'am. The call ends. Marcus has been waiting. He approaches with an envelope. This is a $50,000 check to the Air Force Test Pilot School Scholarship Fund. In your name. It's not enough. Nothing is enough, but it's a start. His voice is steady now, no longer shaking. I've also enrolled in unconscious bias training for my entire company. What happened today can't happen again. Not because of people like me. Simone takes the envelope. This will change lives, Mr. Pemberton. Thank you. No. Thank you for having more grace than I deserve. Veronica steps forward with her phone. I posted the full video, unedited. 3 million views in 2 hours. The comments. People are angry at me. At us. But they should be. We were wrong. Brad's live stream is at 5 million views. The comments have shifted. She's a legend. I judged her too. Never again. This is the lesson we all needed. Dr. Catherine Way emerges from the jet bridge. Captain Mitchell's stable. They're taking him to surgery, but prognosis is good. She looks at Simone. You bought him the time he needed. If we'd been in the air another 10 minutes... She doesn't finish. Doesn't need to. Evan Brooks stands faces Simone. His uniform jacket is sweat-stained, his hands still trembling slightly. Colonel, I need to know, how do I become like you? Time? Experience? Never stop learning. Will you teach me, I mean officially, if I can contact you for mentorship? Simone pulls out a pen, writes on a napkin. My email. Send me your logbook. We'll talk. Evan clutches the napkin like it's made of gold. Thank you for everything. You did the work, Evan. You flew that approach. I just helped you trust yourself. Emma Martinez appears, holding the challenge coin carefully. Miss Ghost, can I ask you something? Simone kneels to eye level. Of course. When I grow up, can I be a pilot like you? Simone looks at this child, brown skin, dark eyes, seeing possibility where the world would try to teach her limits. You can be anything you want. Never let anyone tell you different. Emma hugs her sudden, impulsive, complete trust. Simone freezes for a moment, then returns the embrace. When Emma pulls back, Simone hands her the coin. Keep this, to remember. But it's yours. Now it's yours. A reminder that heroes don't always look like the movies say they should. The jet bridge fills with officials, media crews held back by security barriers. Kansas City's airport director approaches, flanked by airline executives. Colonel Grace, I'm Director Peterson, no relation to the sergeant. A brief smile. The airline CEO is en route, but he wanted me to extend an immediate offer consultant position, emergency training program development. Full compensation, flexible schedule. Simone starts to respond, but he continues. We've also been contacted by Boeing. They want you reviewing 737 MAX return to service protocols. And the NTSB has 3 open investigations they'd like your input on. Behind him, Jennifer Hayes, Airline VP of Operations, steps forward. Colonel, what you demonstrated today wasn't just piloting skill. It was leadership under impossible conditions. We want to build training programs around what you did. Marcus Pemberton clears his throat. If I may, Colonel Grace, my company handles corporate aviation consulting. I'd like to fund a scholarship program in your name. Full ride for aspiring pilots from underrepresented communities, starting with $50,000 annually. Veronica adds, I've started a GoFundMe for the captain's medical bills and the co-pilot's continued training. It's at $200,000 in 3 hours. Every penny goes to them and to aviation scholarships. Derek Walsh stands. The Airline Pilots Association is formally recommending you for the Superior Airmanship Award. I'm also resigning from their diversity committee because I clearly don't understand what diversity actually means. I'll be recommending you to replace me. Simone holds up a hand. Everyone, please. I appreciate this, but Hal Peterson's voice cuts through. Let them thank you, Colonel, because what you did today proved something that shouldn't need proving, but does competence, doesn't have a dress code. Excellence doesn't require a uniform. And heroism looks like whatever it needs to look like when lives are on the line. The crowd of passengers has gathered, all 287 waiting to deplane. Someone starts clapping, then another, then everyone. The applause builds, echoing through the jet bridge. Not polite recognition, but thunder. The sound of people who understand they were given a second chance. Emma stands on a seat coin clutched to her chest. That's my pilot, she shouts, voice pure and clear. Simone's eyes glisten, the first crack in her composure all day. She nods to the crowd, acknowledging them without words. Brad Stevens' live stream captures it all. 7 million viewers now. The comments, I'm crying. This is what heroes look like. Never judging anyone again. She saved them, and they mocked her. I can't. Inspector Williams steps forward with an official document. Colonel Grace, the FAA is expediting a commendation letter for your file. Additionally, we're waiving the usual investigation timeline. Preliminary findings, exemplary judgment, exceptional skill, no pilot error. This will be a case study. Major Tran's voice crackles through Simone's phone. She's been listening the whole time. Ghost, you hearing this? You've got job offers from everyone, but I'm still putting my bid in. Come home. Teach these kids what you just showed the world. Simone finally speaks, voice steady. I'll consider everything, But right now, I need to check on Captain Mitchell. As she moves toward the exit, every passenger she passes reaches out, touching her arm, her shoulder, whispering thanks. She accepts each gesture with quiet grace. At the jet bridge door, she turns back one last time. First Officer Brooks saved this aircraft, not me. Remember his name, Evan Brooks. He's going to be a great captain someday. Then she's gone, leaving 287 people who will never forget the woman in the gray hoodie who refused to let them die. The hospital corridor is quiet. Simone stands outside Captain Mitchell's room, staring through the window at his sleeping form. Maya Rodriguez finds her there. "You okay?" "Just thinking. About today. About 6 years ago." Maya waits, sensing Simone needs to speak. "I was test flying an experimental avionics system. Classified program. Something failed at Mach 1.8 full hydraulic loss at 50,000 feet. Simone's voice is distant, remembering. "I had two choices: eject and lose $1 billion prototype, or try to land it." "You landed it." "Barely. Crashed through 3 fences, destroyed the landing gear, cracked the fuselage. But I saved the aircraft. Saved the program." She pauses. "The stress fractures from the landing were too severe. They scrapped the plane anyway." "But you proved it could be done." "I proved that the human factor could overcome system failure. That's what test pilots do: find the edges, push past them, document what breaks." She looks at Maya. "But I broke something too. My confidence in the system. In the brass who send pilots up in equipment that's probably ready." "So you left?" "I left. Consulted privately. Stayed away from the cockpit." A small smile. "Until today." "Glad you were here." "So am I." 1 week later, Simone receives an email with attached logbook scans. Evan's meticulous entries, each flight documented. A note: "I flew my first solo cross-country today. Thought of you the whole time. Thank you for teaching me to trust myself. EB." She replies, "Solo cross-country is just the beginning. Next milestone, first time you save someone else. Keep flying." SG. Marcus Pemberton establishes the Grace Brooks Aviation Scholarship Fund. First recipient, Emma Martinez, age 13, full flight training scholarship, starting at age 16. His company mandates unconscious bias training for all 2,000 employees. Veronica Chase's video, unedited, titled "I Judged a Hero," reaches 15 million views. She's donated all monetization revenue to aviation safety nonprofits and resigned from her influencer career. Now works in diversity consulting. Derek Walsh completes instructor training. His first lesson to new pilots: never assess capability by appearance. I learned that from the best pilot I ever flew with, and I almost didn't let her save my life. The FAA releases new guidance: emergency assistance from non-crew qualified personnel. The document cites United 473 as the definitive case study. Airlines implement revised training recognizing and utilizing passenger expertise during emergencies. The program is nicknamed Ghost Protocol, informally among pilots. Andrews AFB dedicates a simulator bay, the Grace Facility. Major Tran emails photos. The plaque reads, "Named for Lieutenant Colonel Simone Grace, who proved that the most dangerous thing in aviation isn't equipment failure, it's underestimating the pilot." General Morrison sends formal orders. Consulting position approved. Your terms. Teach them what you know. We need more ghosts. Brad Stevens' TikTok has transformed. He posts daily lessons in humility, recognizing bias, amplifying voices of underrepresented pilots. His followers have doubled to 400K, but now they're learning instead of mocking. News networks request interviews. Simone declines all except one, a live segment where she brings Evan Brooks, Captain Mitchell recovered, and Emma Martinez. The focus isn't her heroism, it's their stories. Mitchell's hospital room. He's awake, tubes removed, color returned. "Colonel Grace, I wanted to thank you. His voice is hoarse but strong. Thank your co-pilot. He did the work. Under your command. That's what captains do recognize when someone else has better answers. He extends his hand. I owe you my life. All of us do. Simone shakes it. You owe Evan Brooks your life. I just helped him see he was capable. Then teach more like him. The aviation community needs you. 3 weeks later, Simone boards another flight. Different airline, different route, JFK to Seattle. She's in economy again, same worn hoodie, same backpack. The gate agent scans her boarding pass without reaction. Seat 18C, middle seat. As she settles in, she notices the young woman in 18D early 20s studying a thick manual airplane flying handbook, FAA H8083-3B, flight school textbook. The young woman looks up, does a double take. You're Colonel Grace from the video. Simone smiles. Just Simone? I'm Ashley Chen. She holds up the book. I'm starting flight training next month. You inspired me. That sounds cheesy, but it's true. It's not cheesy. What made you want to fly? I watched your video. Watched how calm you were when everyone doubted you. How you didn't need their approval to know you were capable. Ashley's voice trembles with emotion. My whole life people told me I was too small, too quiet, wrong ethnicity for a pilot. But you showed me those things don't matter. Simone meets her eyes. What matters? Skill, preparation, staying focused when everything falls apart. Exactly right. You're going to be an excellent pilot. How do you know? Because you're asking the right questions and you're doing the work. Simone pauses. Also, you chose the middle seat, even though aisle and window were available. Only pilots voluntarily take middle seats, better center of gravity sensing during flight. Ashley's eyes widen. I didn't even think about that. It just felt right. That's instinct. That's what we train for, making correct decisions feel natural. The flight takes off smoothly. As they climb through 20,000 feet, Ashley continues studying, occasionally asking Simone questions. Simone answers each one with patience and precision. An hour into the flight, Ashley closes her book. Can I ask something personal? Sure. Do you miss it? Active flying? Simone looks out the window. Clouds below, sky above the sun, painting everything gold. Every day. But I'm still flying, just differently. Teaching pilots like you, consulting on safety programs, helping prevent the next crisis. She turns back to Ashley. Flying isn't just about being in the cockpit. It's about making aviation safer for everyone. Will you go back to active duty? Maybe. I'm considering it. Simone pulls out her phone, shows an email from General Morrison. They want me teaching at test pilot school, training the next generation. You should do it. Why? Because there are thousands of pilots who need to learn from someone like you. Someone who proved that excellence doesn't look like the posters say it should. The flight continues. Smooth, uneventful routine. Before landing, Ashley asks, if I have questions during training, real questions, not just textbook stuff, can I email you? Simone writes her contact on a napkin. Anytime. That's what we do. Pilots help pilots. As they taxi to the gate, Simone closes her eyes. Not to sleep, to listen. The engines spool down, brakes engage. Hydraulic cycling. All normal. Her hands rest on the armrests, thumbs pressed to index fingers. Ready position. Pilot's grip. Always ready. Her phone buzzes, text from Evan Brooks. Accepted to ATP program, starts January. Thank you for everything. She replies, proud of you. Keep climbing. Another text from General Morrison. Decision deadline is Friday. We need you back, Ghost. She types, I'll be there Monday. The cabin door opens. Passengers deplane. Ashley Chen turns before leaving. Thank you, Colonel Grace, for everything. Call me Simone and Ashley. When you're a captain someday, and you will be remembered to look for the quiet ones in the back. Sometimes the person who can save you doesn't look like you'd expect. Ashley nods, eyes bright with tears and determination. Simone is last to deplane. As she walks through the jet bridge, she hears a child's voice behind her. Mommy, was that a pilot? The mother's response, I don't know, honey. She wasn't in uniform. Simone smiles to herself. Not in uniform. Not today, but always ready. She steps into the terminal, disappearing into the crowd, just another passenger in a gray hoodie, invisible to everyone except those who know what to look for. But somewhere in that crowd, a future pilot carries her words forward. And that's how legends grow, not through recognition, but through the seeds they plant in others.